lot worse, Richard Moley.
Dear Abby, I am a praying mantis. I've been married several times, but in each case, on my wedding night, I decapitated my husband. I'm not alone. I do have 3 million children now. However, I would like a meaningful long-term relationship, and I'm afraid that my history frightens men. Can you help me losing my head over love? Fellow Toastmasters, love is a crazy thing. But it could be worse. You could have been a praying mantis. So let me tell you something about my life. I've lived a long time now. I've lived a lot, and I've seen a lot of things, and a lot of it is crazy, but I found a lot of consolation in this wonderful little book here called Dr. Tatiana's Sex Advice to All Creation. Now, Dr. Tatiana is an Oxford biologist, and she uses this format, this Dear Abby thing, to educate the public about biology. And the major theme she has is that we are human beings and all animals do the same things. It's just that they have different strategies for doing it. And what has been very useful for me, whenever I get frustrated and depressed and I think life is nutty, is to go and read something from Dr. Tatiana's book and realize that it could have been a lot worse. So let me explain some things. How about this? Remember, one of the craziest parts of life is adolescence. However many of you have ever raised a teenager? How many of you have ever been a teenager? Okay, roughly the same number of people. Okay. I had a hard time as a teenager. I had a lot of acne. I was very, very shy. I couldn't open my mouth. But it could have been a lot worse. From reading Tatiana's book, I realized I could have been a cheetah. Now let's look at what cheetahs do when they're teenagers. A female cheetah gets to be a teenager. And what she has to do is go find not 1, but 2 male cheetahs. And they have to be brothers. And then she has to convince them both to chase her for 3 days nonstop all the way across the Serengeti Plain. And you thought getting a date for the prom was bad. And it's just as bad for guys. Now guys, according to Tatiana, the girls are in charge in every species, but the guys have to pick up the hints. And I remember that being very puzzling for me. I want to tell you a little personal story. I saw this raising my second son. He was 7 years old, something like that. And they went on a field trip to the Portland Zoo. And I went along with them. So there were 20, 25 little kids there, and about a half a dozen adults. And we're walking along, and we stop at this fence, and there's this zebra looking at us. And so we stop, and we look at the zebra, and the zebra looks at us. We look at the zebra looks at us. And after a little while, another zebra comes over to him. And she looks at him, and they touch noses. And then she turns around and kicks him right in the face. Whack! And then she turns around and gives him a come hither stare. At that moment, I announced, I'm going to the reptile exhibit over here. I did not want to listen to the conversation that ensued from that educational moment that nature was about to give those kids. I was a teenager. It was bad. It could have been a lot worse. The next major trauma in life is childbirth. Okay, I've been present for 2 childbirths, and I want to tell you, frankly, they freaked me out. I mean, I don't know how anybody can do that. I mean, I'm still in shock from Vietnam. That was 40 years ago. How do women do that? But it could have been a lot worse. Any of you women here had any babies? Yeah, a few of you, okay. All right, remember that? Okay, but it could have been worse. You could have been aphid. Then you would have been in labor for 3 months. Now, what's the next thing? Well, the next traumatic event in my life, remember, is the baby comes home for the first night. Remember, baby sounds so nice. Get him home, little monster smells and he screams, he's in charge of the universe. Remember all that? And you rock him and you rock him, and if you stop rocking him, he goes, ah! And then he keeps you up for 3 or 4 nights, and then you feed him and he spits on you and he pukes. He's a monstrous little thing. But could have been a lot worse. I could have been a sand shark. Now, sand sharks always have twins. Now, doesn't that sound nice? Twins? Think about this. In the sand shark world, one of the twins eats the other. Now, think about how that would look. All right, you got this little yuppie couple. They live in, they live in this little house. They have a nursery upstairs. I'm looking forward to the secret events. They go upstairs. Where's little Timmy? Tiffany ate him last night. Well, there's his foot. Tiffany, finish your meal. Clean your foot. That's what you expect to do. Fellow Toastmasters, what I'm saying is that from these experiences, I have figured life out. You see, we're not here to do the things we talk about. We're not here to be all you can be. We're not here to win speech contests or make money or be brilliant. We're not here for any of that crap. We are here as human beings to be human beings, do what they do. That's it. That's how it is. And sometimes it's crazy. It's really crazy. And one of the craziest things in life is love. Whether you're straight love or gay love or love of your children or love of music. My wife's in love with a pine tree in the backyard. You know, I love a chihuahua named Jack. I mean, what is this about? Woody Allen figured it out. He put it in a movie, great little show, of this woman who goes to a psychiatrist. She says, "Doctor, my husband's driving me nuts. He thinks he's a chicken." And the psychiatrist says, "Well, why don't you have him committed?" She says, "I'd love to, but we need the eggs." Now think about that. Isn't that crazy? Life is crazy. Love is crazy. It's all nutty. But we're not here to do the things we talk about. We're here to be humans. We're here to love is one thing we do. And if you find it painful or crazy, learn to accept it and enjoy the ride. If it helps, remember what Dr. Tatiana says. It could be a whole lot worse. Madam Contest Chair.
We have unlimited